So he cried, and his outcry stirred in them all a deep desire to grieve. And Dawn with her rose-red fingers shone upon them, weeping round the wretched corpse. At daybreak King Agamemnon ordered parties of men and mules to haul in timber, pouring from the tents with a good man in charge, the lordly Idomeneus, aid in arms, Meriones. The troops moved out with loggers' axes in hand and sturdy cabled ropes as mules trudged on ahead. Uphill, downhill, crisscross, zigzag on they tramped, and once they reached the slopes of Ida with all her springs, quickly pitching themselves at towering leaf-crowned oaks, they put their backs into strokes of the whetted bronze axes, and huge trunks came crashing down. They split them apart, lashed the logs to the mules, and their hoofs tore up the earth, dragging them down to level ground through dense brush. And all the woodcutters hoisted logs themselves, by command of Idomeneus's good aid Meriones, and they heaved them down in rows along the beach at the site Achilles chose to build an immense mound for Patroclus and himself. With boundless timber piled on all sides of the place, down they sat, waiting, massed. And at once Achilles called his Myrmidons, keen for battle. Belt yourselves in bronze, each driver yoke his team, chariots harnessed. Up they rose and strapped on armor, and swung aboard the war cars, drivers, fighters beside them. And the horse moved out in front. Behind came clouds of infantry, men by thousands, and in their midst his comrades bore Patroclus. They covered his whole body deep with locks of hair they cut and cast upon him, and just behind them brilliant Achilles held the head, in tears. This was his steadfast friend, whom he escorted down to the house of death. When they reached the site Achilles had pointed out, they laid Patroclus down and swiftly built his body a fitting height of timber. And now the great runner remembered one more duty. Stepping back from the pyre, he cut the red gold lock he let grow long as a gift to the river god Spercheius. Scanning the wine-dark sea, he prayed in anguish. Spercheius, all in vain my father Peleus vowed to you that there, once I had journeyed home to my own dear fatherland, I'd cut this lock for you and offer splendid victims, dedicate 50 young ungelded rams to your springs, there at the spot where your grove and smoking altar stand. So the old king vowed, but you've destroyed his hopes. Now, since I shall not return to my fatherland, I'd give my friend this lock, and let the hero Patroclus bear it on his way. With that, Achilles placed the lock in his dear comrade's hands, and stirred in the men again a deep desire to grieve. And now the sunlight would have set upon their tears, if Achilles had not turned to Agamemnon quickly. Atrides, you are the first the armies will obey. Even of sorrow men can have their fill. So now dismiss them from the pyre, have them prepare an evening meal. We are the closest to the dead, we'll see to all things here. But I'd like the leading captains to remain.